All right, y'all. So this video has gotten a lot of attention recently. I'm just gonna hit play and then we'll have a conversation.
The immense fear, oh Lord. I might cry in this video. The immense fear that I'm feeling right now to get this out is insane. And I do believe that is Satan attacking me right now. But this is really, really, really important. I have had this revelation from the Father for about 2 years now, and I have neglected to talk about certain things that He has revealed to me, to you guys, because out of the fear, of being like hated and just certain things on here. But this is seriously like detrimental, and I keep hearing God's voice to just get it out and to tell you guys. Phones are demonic. They are so demonic. And it sucks because I'm on here talking about the Lord. But he doesn't want it to be like that. Satan cannot create, okay? The devil cannot create. So what does he do? He tries to imitate everything that God does, and he just distorts it in his own way. This is a false connection. This is a false connection that we have with each other. We're so attached to our phones, scrolling and comparison, and all the doors that it just opens up. It's literally Satan and his demons working at hand through this. God can connect with us and speak to us, and he is omnipresent in many natural ways through the Spirit, not through a phone, but through the Holy Spirit. And Satan can't do that. He can't talk to us personally like Jesus can. So what does he use? He uses a phone for this false connection, for this false social living, giving us a false hope and a false identity of oh yeah, we're all connected, but we're actually not. How many people, please, because this is applicable to me, because I stopped going out to colleges and on foot praying to people and bringing them to God that way, and I started doing it on here. How many people do you go out and you physically see face to face and you talk to them about Jesus Christ and you talk to him about the deeper things in his word? How many? But instead we get on here because it's just easier, and it's just easier to connect and push out that way. But we are literally chained to our phones. Because whether or not it's just for this, again, whether or not this is just because of God or outside of God, but we idolize our phones and we idolize the people that we are watching through our phones, and we compare ourselves and we want to be this person. We want to act like them. But then I want to tell you guys right here, right now, not everybody that posts Christian content or talks about God or just lives a certain way is actually how they're living. And you're trying to compare and become this person that you see on the screen when they are so far from God. And if you start comparing and actually becoming this person out of this idolization, you're only getting closer to hell, because they're not even close to Jesus. Do you see what I'm kind of saying right now? God can speak to us because he's omnipresent. He can speak to us in many, many ways, and Satan cannot. So he uses what? Phones. Everybody has phones. Everyone has phones. Is it not crazy to you that you can FaceTime somebody in China if you wanted to? You want to call somebody in Australia and you can. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. Come on. Someone watching this needs to have this clicking. You guys, I cannot be the only one. Jesus decided to come in a time where there was no phones, where he had to walk to go and preach the word, where he had to get up physically and travel to go and touch somebody and lay hands on them to talk about the good news. And now we just sit back and just do whatever we want to do through a screen without any actual physical interaction with another human being. Is this making sense? No wonder you feel so alone and so depressed. It's because your connection is through a phone, through wires, through chips, and through a computer. It is not authentic. It is not in the flesh. And that is how the 12 disciples and Jesus Christ lived. Jesus is literally saying that we're consumed by our phones, by the technology. He came in a time where there wasn't anything, and that is the example. Satan mimics everything that God does, and the phones is just simply another way of it. There is nothing organic and there is nothing spiritual edifying that comes from this phone, from this wired brick. Only a false connection. And no, this is not me disregarding how God can work through this, but this is absolutely a device from Satan. And all of these apps that we're constantly on and scrolling and that we're putting over God is absolutely from Satan. God did not create this, man did, from the worldly, earthly wisdom. And I literally just talked about earthly wisdom and heavenly wisdom that is talked about in James 3:13. There's absolutely a false connection with phones. Like, there's no other way to put it. It is just demonic. Anyways, go ahead, call me crazy. It's okay. I just know what the Lord tells me. I encourage you guys to get off your phones, like seriously, and and go and physically tell people about Jesus. That's something that I'm going to start doing again because Jesus did it that way, and so why am I doing it over a phone? Over something Satan has authority over. For goodness sake, most people have an iPhone. What's on the back of it? A bitten fruit.
So, no, I don't think you're crazy. I like what you said in terms of, God is omnipresent, right? But Satan is not omnipresent. But the way that he could be is through this phone, because we're all walking around with phones. So Satan wants to mimic God, right? He can't be omnipresent, but he could mimic the appearance of being omnipresent by way of the phone. But it's only based on the access that we allow. If we allow Satan to have access via our phones based on what we're consuming, then he'll have access. And those seeds will be planted. And that temptation will be evident in our lives, right? But at the same time, I do think, and I think she's correct, the majority of what she's saying, I think she's correct. But I do think it is an incredible opportunity to reach people on the same very device that they are on all day long. I think it is an incredible opportunity to reach people on the device that they are on all day long. But that comes at a risk, because most of us, myself included, are using our phones for much more than just evangelizing. We're consuming things that we shouldn't be consuming, whatever that may be. Even the fact of being able to see all these people's lifestyles, I don't think it was supposed to be like that. I don't think we were supposed to see everybody's lifestyle and how they're living, what they have, what they don't have, their success, their failure, who they're dating, who they're not dating, all the drama. I don't think we're supposed to see all of this at one time as one human being. I think it's too much for us to process, because inevitably we're going to compare. We're going to judge. We're going to feel some type of way based on what we're consuming. And that's why I said, I do believe that it is an open door if we allow it to be an open door. And for the most part, for most of us, that's exactly what it is. But I think it's the same thing in terms of the conversation that we have with ChatGPT. It's like, okay, ChatGPT, there's some use cases that are positive for ChatGPT. But then on the other side, humans are humans. We're going to figure out how to manipulate these use cases and make them negative and use them in ways that are going to turn into us idolizing that very technology that was meant to serve us. This device, it was meant to make our lives more convenient. It was meant to make communication more convenient. So in a sense, you could say it was meant to serve us. But a lot of us have got it twisted, and we're now serving the device. It's the first thing we open up when we wake up. It's the last thing we look at when we go to bed. When we're stressed out, we pick up our phones. When we're anxious, we pick up our phones. When we're in an awkward social situation, we pick up our phones. When we're happy, we pick up our phones. When we're sad, we pick up our phones. We're running to our phones more than we're running to God. And absolutely, that is a problem. The question is, what the heck do we do about that problem? What the heck do we do about that problem? Because now we're at a point where we've developed a dependence to our phones. We've developed a dependence to our phones. We've developed an addiction to our phones. Right? You know what I've thought about getting like a dumb phone, just like a little flip phone that doesn't have social media, doesn't have anything, just like a calculator and a phone. That's it. And calculator, phone, text. That's what I've considered. But then at the same time, it's like, it's tough based on what I'm involved in from a social media standpoint. It is very tough, but you know, from somebody who is on social media a lot, way more than what is probably healthy, it definitely has its effects. It definitely does. It definitely does. And they're not positive. I'll tell you that. So yeah, I mean, look, this is one of those videos where it's like, you don't really want to accept it, but you know it's true. You know it's true. What do you think? Get in my comments, like this video. Let me know what you think. All right, I'm out.